Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Osei, and I will be your host for tonight for the 1625 Independent People's Sleep Out. I hope you enjoyed tonight, and we have lots in store for you. So, first, a bit about me. I'm a 1625 Independent People service user. I came to them about 4 years ago when I suffered with or was dealing with homelessness myself, and they have helped me get back on my feet, find new employment, and also deal with lots of mental health issues. They are a super great charity that are based here in Bristol and do lots of work with lots of people around the city. So that's a bit about me and what I do and why I'm here. So here now I will talk a bit about what to expect from tonight, and then I will give a few ground rules on how you can join our stream to come on stage and talk to me live on air tonight. And then we will go to an interview with Dominic, who is our CEO of 1625. So tonight we have some comedy with Harriet Dyer, a bedtime story with Alice Roberts, talks and interviews with CEOs and other professionals from the industry, and also an opportunity for audience members to come on stage. We also have prizes towards the end of the night, so I hope you stick around for that and take part. But first, a bit about why we sleep out. Last year, 110,000 young people asked for support with homelessness in the UK. 97% of those people weren't visibly homeless, so they weren't sleeping on the streets or anything like that. They were sofa surfing or other types of homelessness. This is a crucial thing that we at 1625 try to impart onto younger generations, especially because we often think that homelessness is just rough sleeping, but that's not the case. And young people who suffer or experience homelessness, 1625 Independent People want to tackle that problem so that young people can find independence and have the opportunity to thrive in adulthood. 1625 Independent People work hard to empower young people so they can make the changes in their lives and access opportunities for stable housing, income, employment, and good relationships. We think that these are all crucial things that every person should have access to. So that's why we sleep out, and that's why we think it's important, because it is important. So a few housekeeping rules before we continue. Like I said earlier, there are opportunities for you to come onto the live stream tonight and talk to me live on stage, so you can talk about your experiences or other people's experiences that you've been connected to with homelessness. Our teams will be talking to you on the live chat on YouTube, but they will also be on emails and social media. So you can contact them through multiple different avenues if you want to get involved, and they will reply to you and get you on the stream with us. And yeah, of course, we would love to see as many of you tonight as possible. We have a photo competition later, which if you tag us in your photos on social media and check in at the end on Facebook or Twitter for the winner, we will let you know who the winner is. So that should be really exciting. And we will have prizes to send out to people. So stay tuned and please take part for that. Now we have a word with our CEO, Dom, who will be talking to us for about 5 to 10 minutes about his work. So here we have Dom.
Hey, thanks, Osei. I got called Dominic earlier. That doesn't happen very often. And all the numbers that I was going to amaze you with about youth homelessness, Osei's stolen them. So what am I going to talk about? I don't know. I'm used to audience participation, so I'll just do my best. 1 year ago, there had been snow on the ground in the morning. Rain was predicted in the middle of the night, and a lot of us were in the amphitheatre. And most of us had never heard of anything called coronavirus. No one knew what that was. And 2019, I'll do different numbers. In 2019, England only, 91,500 young people went to their local authorities and spoke to a homelessness officer about help around homelessness. I'll say that again, 91,500. So to put that in perspective, that's bigger than Bath. Bath's population is 89,000. It's really hard to get proper stats, but in the west of England last year, it says on the government's live tables that 950 young people registered for help around homelessness. So that ignores the 16 and 17-year-olds that go for help around homelessness under the Children Act. It ignores those people housed in supported housing and temporary accommodation. And it ignores all those people who have never triggered an assessment in that way, I mean. And it ignores all those people who don't actually approach the local authority. And some of them may return home and stay at home with some support. We got a service in Bristol called MAPS, where nearly all of the young people who are threatened with homelessness come there first. And whilst that has been open, of the cases that we've taken on, over 30% of the young people have had help to stay at home and to remain at home. So we know that no matter how good homelessness services are, the best outcomes for people, if it's safe, is at home. And that's where we should be concentrating. So that's some numbers I've given you. 950, 91,500 Bath, whatever you want to take it as, it's too many. It's way, way too many. And there's an argument that one person is too many. But this year was a bit different. There was a pandemic, or there is a pandemic, and a public health crisis hit, a rough sleeping and homelessness crisis. And lots of people paid attention to that. And our work got called essential work. It was the first time. We're essential workers. But we delivered services throughout that. And we are still delivering services in this lockdown. Clearly, the 24-hour projects where staff work and young people live stayed the same pretty much as ever, without as many people coming in visiting from other agencies. Face-to-face work continues and will continue unless it's a young person's choice that they want to engage in different ways. And we reacted pretty quickly to the pandemic, and I think we did really well. We set up support groups, working groups, to look at essential provisions for young people and to look at digital poverty, because what we really, really realised and what really came home was how much some of our young people are digitally excluded. The world at the beginning of the pandemic became an online world. That's how we talked to each other. That's how we got information. That's how everything happened. And lots of people get data from somewhere else, but they couldn't go somewhere else. So there were lots of issues that we had to overcome about how young people will get data and how they can get equipment to carry on college, to apply for jobs, or to apply for welfare benefits if they've lost their job. And that's a big, big thing. And we've always talked about a safe place to live, trusted adults to turn to, access to the support you need, education, employment and training. And now we have to include being digitally active. We can't ignore that. The world is digital. Let's talk about colleagues and the people that we work with. It's also been really difficult for people at work, and we've set up working groups to look at how we support colleagues. We've set up wellbeing sessions for colleagues because there's a lot to deal with, not only in the day-to-day work and some fear about infection, but also in people's lives. We can't ignore that it's having a massive effect on everyone's lives. So we've been doing a lot of that, working with our colleagues on resilience so that we can continue to deliver in the best way. We're more agile than we've ever been. Look, I'm at home. I know I'm inside. I will be outside at another point. That's not the cue for the end, which I said it was earlier. But we've managed the pandemic. But that's not all we've done. We haven't sat on our pandemic laurels, as it was. This week, young people started moving into a new 18-bed supported living project in Yate in South Gloucestershire. It's called Woodleys. It's a wonderful project, and with lots of support for care leavers, which will be half of the people living there, and other young homeless people, the other half. Reboot Southwest has been doing amazing in getting results for young people going into education, employment and training. And let's face it, the market for young people's work isn't a great one and looks quite bleak. So we've got to do lots of different things around education, employment and training. It will be challenging. We've refurbished properties during the original lockdown and the following period so that we've got more affordable housing for young people. We've put some of our services online. So we do tenancy training, which is now can be done either as an on. I'm muted. I've not muted. I was muted. Nobody wants to know about the tenancy training. Young people have got activity packs that will help with mindfulness during the lockdown. And in January, we're launching a new national toolkit, which is the culmination of all the hard work around Future for Me, which was an award-winning project working with care leavers and young people who've offended. We've been training other organisations, and we've got a new people strategy to really support our colleagues so that they can deliver at the best and feel supported throughout that. So I feel really honoured to work somewhere where our young people, our colleagues, our board members, our partner agencies and friends can come together tonight, at night, in the freezing cold, and do something entertaining and very slightly odd to help end youth homelessness. It's been a busy time. I am inside. My daughter, say hello, Sylvia. Hello. My daughter and I are going outside any minute. I must admit, after a takeaway. And we'll be sleeping outside. So I hope you enjoy the entertainment, and I look forward to seeing what everyone's up to in their gardens, baths, sheds, wherever it is. So back to Osei, and please don't call me Dominic. See you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Dom. I won't call you Dominic ever again. Slip of the tongue. Also, I thought it was very important, all of the things that you were talking about, especially technology, because these are important times for people to be connected. So now we have a video from some more of our really inspiring and incredible young people. Alexis, Rowan, Tia Louise, and Curtis will be talking a bit about their experiences in this video. So I hope you enjoy.
A good support worker is caring. They actually want to help the young people they're working with, and they're realistic. They're not trying to get young people to do things that aren't realistic for them. Each young person has different things that have happened to them, different trauma, I've got different things going on for them at the moment, and they need to be realistic about there are certain things they're not going to be able to do because of the things going on in their life. Trust is important, because if you don't trust the person you're working with, whether it's a support worker or a social worker, whoever it is, then you're not going to be able to talk to them about really important things, because you feel like they're not respecting you, and they won't be able to do their job as well.
In terms of meeting basic needs of the young people that we support, I think it varies quite a lot actually. It's kind of down to the individual kind of young person's assessment of what they identify as being basic needs. So as much as I can, I would try to let the young person kind of lead on that. I think key to building a trusting relationship with young people is firstly about being open and honest with them. A lot of the young people that we support have a reason to not trust services and to not trust adults in general, especially professionals that are, supposedly there to support them. So I think from the offset, making it clear what support we can offer so that the young person is clear as can possibly be from the start.
The support for me is really good because it gives me an opportunity to persevere when I'm in a down state. And I really am supportive for them for sticking by me. They always give me an opportunity for new learning curves. So to have somebody look over me and give me an opportunity, it really does give me a sense of purpose, because they see potential for a flower on blossom rather than a weed in a mud, if that makes sense. I think being treated as an individual is important because everybody is unique. For the system to work, each young person has to be understood, the situation where they come from. I think the best thing would be to keep pushing and persuading, so when they have the down or the down times, they can think, I have a purpose.
The young people that are in custody have got a wide variety of complex needs. So that could be issues around housing, substance misuse, education, relationship building with families. So they're going to have a wide variety of needs. But for those young people, especially the ones that have experienced trauma, their primary need is going to be having a positive relationship, because the majority of relationships in their lives with the significant adults in their lives that should have been positive, that should have been nurturing, may well have been negative. So for them, those relationships, and probably more importantly, the feelings that arise for them in those relationships, so those encounters with professionals, are really important. So For a new professional working with a young person who's at risk of custody or who is in custody, it's not probably the service that's going to be of primary importance to the young person. It's how they're going to feel about themselves when they've met that professional.
I think it's really important in a relationship with a young person to show unconditional positive regard. They often speak a different language. It's a language of a teenager or the area they came from or the people they hang around with. And as a support worker, you need to be able to just adapt to that. For me, to be involved with someone and for them to almost be unthinking about that relationship would be a sign of success, because that means that my professionalism is not noticed. You know, it's more about what we're doing than who I am. And I think in a way, if we could kind of move away from, you know, creating a sense of difference, then that would be really good for breaking down barriers between young people that have got a history of challenge and difficulty and rejection, and inviting them in a way that's not about parameters and limits and titles.
It's important to be consistent, predictable and reliable, because a lot of our young people haven't had that. It helps to build trust, and if you are all of those things, then they know that you are easy to count on, and they can call you if they're in a fix and know that you'll be there. The way I am best reliable is I manage expectations. If I can't be there at a certain time, I'll tell them that. I won't say I'll be there and then be late. I think it's about sticking to a plan and setting out your stall and telling them your limits and your boundaries, and then they know what to expect. I help young people recognise their strengths and successes by trying to unpick it sometimes and point it out where they might not have, and highlighting those strengths and talking about them, and really just empowering them. And I think it's really important to be completely honest, be your true self, because a young person, especially the young people I work with, they will see through a phony straight away and they'll have you for it. So you've just got to be you.
I don't think I could do it on my own. I don't think I could. Like, we've all had like really bad experiences, and like, I'm still trying to get back up, which if I didn't have anyone, I'll probably just stay on the ground. Yeah, we all have different backgrounds, but we all stay as one. Like, we're all one massive big group who needs our voice heard and get us the right help and make us future better and brighter. And some young people go out with their support workers and basically just go for coffee, tea. We have day trips out. So basically we're not really like in like a formal chat, so like it's in a room, you sit down. It's like we actually get out and explore as well.
I'm really intentional in all of my support sessions to try and build an environment that puts them at ease and makes them feel relaxed. And often I'll try and create a space where we're not looking at each other directly. Eye contact always makes people feel uncomfortable, well, especially to begin with. So quite often the best conversations I'll have will be when we're doing something and we're not looking directly at each other, but we can still talk. Or maybe if we're in a car and we're driving along, often I have the best conversations in a car because people can feel relaxed, they can open up, and it's a safe space. So the reason that I do what I do, and the thing I love most about my job, is finding out what makes a person tick. Every young person, I believe, has massive potential and has gifts and talents that are unique to them. And a lot of my work is trying to help them identify what those things are, because I believe that absolutely every single one of them has those things. I love encouraging people to try new things, to discover what they might be passionate about, to hopefully, so they can fill their life with things that make them feel really fulfilled and that they find loads of joy out of. So yeah, a lot of my work will be doing that kind of thing.
Good support workers, they literally treat you like a proper person. They get to know you with a good one. You want them in your life. We're not pieces of paper, we are actual people. I don't know how to put it. It's like you're sort of in a bubble, but you're still getting the freedom. You're not being smothered. You still got freedom to do whatever you want, but if you need it, there it is.
Awesome. Thank you to the team for making that. And most importantly, thank you to Alexis, Rowan, Tia Louise, and Curtis for being a huge part in that film. So hopefully very shortly, we will be having an audience member join us live on air. But just before that, I will tell you a bit more about what I do here at 1625 and how I contribute to help ending homelessness. So me, myself, I am a peer mentor and peer educator here at 1625, which involves me not only working with the young people who come to 1625, but going out to schools with their trained and official staff members to talk about homelessness. And also we do a financial budgeting course, because for lots of young people, budgeting is a huge issue that they need help with. So we often spend about 3 hours a morning at a school talking about homelessness and financial stuff, which is fun, unless it's like 50 children. But that's also always great. And another thing I do is I sit on the youth board here. So that's like the board of trustees, but it's the young people who have been service users talking to other board, like the board of trustees, about what we think needs to be improved and ways that it can be improved. So lots of it is often sitting in a meeting room and calling out staff members for either not doing enough or doing too much in some areas. So yeah, it's always fun to have the opportunity to do that. And there's always other ways that you can get involved. The participation and learning team here is quite large, and they are expanding to do lots more things, which is great. So yeah, hopefully we will be transferring to a video call very shortly. But if not, we will go over to another video, which will be comedy with Harriet Dyer. And she has been on BBC Three, BBC Live at the Fringe, BBC Radio 4, BBC Knock Knock, BBC Ouch, and Absolute Radio. She's an award-winning comedian, writer, and mental health advocate. She was live at the Fringe Festival a few years ago, where she got famous, and then toured her show. And luckily, we have managed to get a video of her online for you guys, so we can share it with you tonight. Hopefully, it will be done very soon and we can watch it. So we will be watching that now.
Hello, thanks for having me. 1625 independent people. Maybe I should explain. No, have it focus. Well, I'll tell you this. Since I've started, I'm sorry as well about my face. I look like I've been rubbing onions in my eyes, when in fact what it is I just got awful allergies today. Hay fever. The funny thing is though, that when I left Cornwall, because I'm from Cornwall, that's another reason why I love what you're doing. Southwestians got to sorry, I thought, do you know my fiance? Because I don't say fiance. I think it sounds wanky. It's like Michael Bublé's Booble Michael, one do you reckon? But he says that when I sneeze so hard and loud that one day I'm going to sneeze myself inside out. And I think if you ever sneeze yourself inside out, just do a big sniff. Isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, what you're doing, I just think is absolutely fantastic. I'd love to hear all the, because obviously what's happening at the minute with COVID and that, the sleep out's different this year. So I'd love to, I can't wait to find out all the places, the unique and interesting places that everyone's going to be sleeping out at. I'd sleep out here. This is Bernard Manning's cupboard. Well, no, it's like, because I say that because it's a bit like the Embassy Club, didn't it, from back in the day. God rest his soul, Bernard Manning. Anyway, so thanks for having me. I'm Harriet Dyer and I am a comedian. Been in, and do you know what I will say as well? What you do at 1625 is just really resonates with me because while I was homeless a little bit when I was younger, and I feel like I've got more Cornish throughout. I was homeless for a bit when I was younger. Honestly, really, when I was reading through all what you're doing, and it's fantastic, and the amount of money that you raised last year and all that. I hope you do the same and more this year. I just think, a lot of people ask me to do bits and bobs, and this is it's one of the ones where I've thought, bloody, look how jolly I look. Where I thought, bloody, well, I will tell you this quickly. So during this, because I've done a few sort of live bits and bobs, and then in 1 week, like 3 people come up to me and said that they reckon I've got ADHD because and they professional people that work with people with ADHD, and but I've got a full house when it comes to mental illness. I can't be having any more. I think it does make sense. I do find it very difficult and do you know what? Even when I was at school, I just wasn't paying attention, and then I was having to, when the teachers were saying stuff, I was having to say what they just said in my head to try and get it to stick in my. Do you know what? This hair as well. My fiance cuts my hair because when I go to the doctor, well, that's the first problem, isn't it? Go to the doctor to get my hair cut. Short back a size, please, Mr. Lister. No, Mr. Lister. He was a bloody teacher. He was a teacher at school. He used to walk me home. That's weird, isn't it? He said that I had pretty earrings. I just thought he was nice, but now I think about it, it's just weird. Yeah, and there was another one, Mr. Tattersall, and he used to be like in a bush going, I reckon you're a well good runner because I'm agile, you see. I've got the physique of a gazelle. And I was like, well, of course you think I'm a good runner because I'm running away from you creeping in the bushes. Anyway, doctor. So hairdresser. So we go hairdresser, and I just thinking about it, when when they put your head back in the sink, so I start gipping. I ate it. It just so I haven't cut my hair for probably best part of 10 years now, as in a hairdresser. So then my fiance does it, and it was more. Well, it wasn't like this. It was more sort of like a sort of sexy mushroom, I'd say, and then. I just had one rule, and that was I don't want to look like I work at the fair. And look what happens. And the problem is, I like it. It's very low maintenance, but I've got proper I've got like 5 crowns and a queen, and then I've got these cowlick. I didn't know a cowlick is called a cowlick because it looks like a cow's lick your head, and it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Speaking of cows, I once woke up in a field with a cow. I had a bloody massive chipolata in my hand, and there's a cow going up in Cornwall, and it's normal down there. So anyway, hello. Sorry, I feel like I feel like I've because I know me, so I know what I'm like, but I am aware that I'm a lot for some people. Yeah, one of the gigs I do that they what does they say? They said that the return quite a few of the new people don't come back, and they said, well, it's Harriet, it does take, first of all, and someone said as well that when I speak, it looks like I'm learning English for the first time. I don't even know what that means. But whenever I say it, people seem to laugh, so it must be true. Sorry, I've got her very dry lips. So, hello, my name is Harriet Dyer. I'm a comedian, and I'm as surprised as you are. That's what I do. I'm very, very, very lucky. And like I said, what you're doing, I just think is fantastic. I'll tell you a bit about me. I do a lot of comedies to do with mental health and stuff like that. I've got bipolar, and I'll tell you a bit about my journey. So when I was a young warthog. So I was at when I was younger, I definitely had a breakdown at 13. I had a lot of trauma, a lot of sort of things happening when I was growing up. And yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. And I definitely had a breakdown, like I said, when I was 13. And my mum took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, yes, there are issues, because I wasn't speaking to humans at the time. I'd only speak to rocks. I had this little box with cotton wool in it, and so I had cotton wool in it with little rocks on top, like damp cotton wool. I think I got confused with crust, and I would only speak to those rocks. I wouldn't speak to people. I had issues, and that's what we do when we're at school, don't we? You think that these people are just weird, where now you look back, it's like when I was at school, there was a girl that only had left feet, as in shoes. I don't know, actual feet, just their shoes, because her mum used to rob them from when they just put left feet out of the thing. So we all thought that was funny, but now looking back on it, it's like, no, it's really sad, because her mum can't afford shoes, so she's had to rob 2 left feet. And then poor old girl was just walking around in circles with her 2 left shoes, bless her. But you don't think that at the time, do you? But anyway, yeah, so I had a breakdown, and then my mum took me to the doctor. Doctor tried to put me on Prozac, and then my mum was like, absolutely not, she doesn't need that, she's just eccentric. Is what she said. And it was lovely that she said that, because she just thought, my daughter is just, nothing wrong with her. I love her how she is, and that's lovely. But the problem was, because there was so much like darkness, and constantly felt like there were spiders in my head crawling around. I was just constantly, it was weird. I just felt just like drowning in darkness constantly. So that when she said, oh, there's nothing wrong with her, she's just eccentric, that even though, like I said, it was lovely of her, it made me think that what was going on in my head was wrong, because there was nothing wrong with me. So that's quite detrimental, really. But it's different times. I know it's quite a cop out to say that about some things, but my mum and dad, they definitely had mental health issues, but it just wasn't a thing then. It wasn't talked about. Definitely not. My mum was from a really small town in Yorkshire, and my dad, he's from Cornwall, and my dad's gay. My dad's gay now, so he was born in the late 40s, when it was still illegal to be gay. And Cornwall was backwards of the better times, let alone back then. And growing up on a farm, bless him. So he must have that must have been so tough for him to be feeling, a certain something in his head, and then being told that's wrong and illegal. That's enough to send anyone bloody mentally ill. Bless him. Yeah, bless him. So my mum, actually, she was only ever with my dad. Harriet, you're waffling. Well, quickly. So my mum, she was, because my mum's not alive now. God bless her soul. Bless her soul. So she was only ever with my dad. She went on a date with another man, but tell you this, Harriet, you got too many. Come on, focus. Sorry. So she went on a date with a guy. I said at a gig that my mum was only ever with my dad, and then this girl in the audience goes, liar. And I was like, what? Because did I tell you my mum died? Yeah. So this girl goes, liar. And I said, what? She's like reverse slut shaming my dead mother. She goes, there's no way your mum was only ever with your dad. And I was like, well, as you could tell by me, you're quite an open family. So yeah. And then I went like that, and everyone was like, what's she doing? And then, I'll tell you the backstory. So what happened was, I was listening to the radio while I was doing the dishes, and show business life that I lead. And we all need to wash our dishes. Do you know what I mean? So this is the radio. This advert come on, Anne Summers. and it said about these little these little pebbly called Vivs, and I said Viv because my mum was called Vivian, so I was like, wow, maybe that's what she's come back as. Do you know what I mean? So then when I went like that to this woman, I imagine like summoning all the little vibrators and to attack her, like, you know, batteries not included. So she went on a date with another guy. He turned up with a pink capri ski jacket. Oh, thank goodness he won't go in Flambards. Flambards is, I don't know whether it's still going actually. It's a Cornish theme park other than Dairyland. Dairyland, instead of rides, you just milk cows, and I'm banned for life. We ain't got time for that. So went to Flambards once, and I wasn't allowed to go in because I was wearing a shell suit, and someone had combusted going down the bloody demon drop as like a big slide of friction issues. Anyway, so my mum went on a date with this guy. He had massive eyebrows, like, you know that advert with the got worms, and there's like a big dog with big tufty mufty eyebrows. Anyway. And then my mum come back, she was all sad, and I said, oh no, what happened? And she goes, oh, I think I ruined it. And I said, okay, talk me through it. So she goes, he said to me, if you were a snack, what snack would you be? Who's asking that on a date? He got what he deserved. And my mum said, right, well, I'd be a pretzel because I've got curvature of the spine. Which I think is hilarious, but yeah, it's not date chat, is it? Bless her. So yeah, so my mum, they had that going on. My mum said, oh, she's just eccentric. That's fair as well. I was eccentric. Like, I haven't changed really, because so anyway, Harriet, focus. So when I was at school, I'd turn up, I had a flesh-coloured eye patch on, and then the mums would gather around. My mum would go, what happened to Harriet? And my mum would be like, oh, nothing. She just wears it for attention. My eye patch. And recently I've started wearing an eye patch too. So when I'm driving, this eye really hurts. When I'm doing long, my hands look massive. Bigger. Are they supposed to be? Are your hands supposed to be? Supposed to be as big as your head. Maybe my head's. No, you got a small head, I think. Like a little pea head. Jolly pea head. So sorry, I'm exhausted. So my mum, so then I go on long journeys, my eye hurts. So then I wear an eye patch like these days as well, because my eyes hurt. Is that normal? I don't think it is. And I also, did you ever do that thing where you were a kid where you'd pretend you were a giant? So you'd be like, oh, I'm sitting on a flannel pretending it's a beach towel. Yeah? Or, oh, I'm eating a cabbage. It's a sprout. No. So, to be fair to her, I was eccentric as well. I cried in the bath when I was 5 because I thought I would have grown a really bad now. I wanted to be a boy. Really wanted to be a boy. Just never like all this, oh, you're a girl, so you have to wear a dress. Piss off. No. My dad used to get me all these bloody frilly dresses. I just, oh, no, not for me. And I've carried that on throughout life. And even now you get, when I'm gigging and stuff, you get people shouting, oh, you're lesbian. What? Why? Because I've got short hair, so I must be a lesbian. What are you talking about? This was a catastrophe. Plain and simple catastrophe. So anyway, so yeah, that happened. It was definitely had issues. Didn't get out, but I was younger. And then my mum and dad broke up because my poor dad, bless him. But my mum was just, he was her world, and you know she really struggled, and you know she didn't eat, and it was really sad now, because at the time I just only really felt for her, and I was fumigating with him. But now I look back on it, and obviously it was hell for him and hell like I say hell. I'm saying how, like hell. What's that man? Hal from with the do you know what I mean? The crack. What's he called? Breaking Bad. He's called Hal, isn't he? No, he was called Hal in Malcolm in the Middle. Was he in Malcolm in the Middle? I think he was in Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, he was the dad. Sorry, I don't know what this has become. So my dad left, and then my mum was like, right, well, we need to go on holiday because we're all quite sad. I said, brilliant. Where are we going? London. Now, no offence to anyone that lives in London, but London is not relaxing. It's about as relaxing as London. It's not relaxing. And we were staying with my Auntie Mavis. Oh my God, she's not relaxing either. She's like she's like Mrs. Trunchbull, although you might know her. She went famous. She went viral in 2010 for teaching cats opera on YouTube. She teaches cats a mean Nessadorme. So I was so ill, like the illest I've ever been in my life, and I needed to just stay in and recoup. And but my Auntie Mavis, she was like, no, what you need to do is get yourself on the London Eye. I was like, oh God, the only thing worse than feeling how I feel is feeling how I feel and rotating in a circular motion. So I wasn't happy. It's terrible. It was. I just felt awful. Eventually we went home. My mum shouted at me on the bloody train because I had a hula hoop on each finger, and then I went toilet, come back with a hula hoop still on each finger. Mum said that was very unhygienic. She had a point. So then finally got back home, and then I needed to go to bed and I needed to sleep. But then I was going out with this guy, very skinny, very hairy. So we called him the pipe cleaner. And even though now I haven't lived in Cornwall for a very long time, I live near Manchester. This guy was from Manchester, and his accent is still the most from Manchester I've ever heard in all my life. My brother said it sounded like we were being chased by an electric razor, like that. He was a strange fish, to be honest. So I was going out with him, and he was like, "Come out! I haven't seen you for ages." And I was like, "Oh, I feel awful, but I'm weak. And also because I was told there was nothing wrong with me, I was just eccentric. I naturally was sort of masking, trying to make myself feel better with drinking drugs. So I wanted to get pissed and off my head. So I went clubbing. This club who used to sell pasties. Once I woke up the next day and I was like, what the bloody hell? That stuck to my shoe. A whole pasty. What a waste. So I went to this club, felt awful, but I didn't want to make a fuss, especially because a couple of weeks previous, I woke up with I had all these rings on me, and then I thought I had ringworm. So I went to doctors, but it turned out I'd just been sticking flaming Zambucas to my stomach, you see. So I thought, best not make a fuss. So I had this terrible pain. But I was just like, right, I'll just dance it off. So I was just dancing away. Unbeknown to me, my appendix had burst and was becoming gangrenous. Oh God, it was so ill. And then, he just wouldn't take me home. But then eventually got home. My mum was like, oh my God. So she called the doctor, got rushed to hospital. And died on the operating, got rushed straight into surgery and died. They had to me and everything. Yeah, it was quite distressing. People say to me, oh, did you see light or tunnel or anything like that? And I didn't, but because I was here like lying down, and then the people tinkering away on me here. But I definitely remember seeing the tops of the surgeons' heads, and that doesn't make sense. So that makes me think I might have been like floating off and looking down, watching them. So, but then a friend of mine said maybe there's mirrors on the ceiling. But I think, well, where's this hospital? Peter Stringfellow's bedroom? Do you know what I mean? And I loved hospital. I absolutely loved it. I loved the routine. I love it. Yeah, it was the same thing every day. I just loved the safe. I felt so safe there. Thought it was fantastic. Eventually they were like, right, we think you're ready to go home. And I was like, no. I don't feel right. And they were like, well, if you keep this baked potato down, I reckon you can go home. Fucking baked potato is bloody microwaves. It's not even a jacket, is it? When it's baked potato, it's more like a polyester shawl around it. Where's the jacket? So I went home and I couldn't breathe. And in fact, speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, my mum and brother said I sounded like, do you remember Stevie? I'd be like, I can't breathe. And they'd go, God, you really do sound like him. Yeah, but I can't breathe. I had pneumonia. So then I got rushed back to hospital. And then the nurse, she didn't plug me into the bloody incubator. That's not right. The incubator, that's where the babies go. Imagine you going to get your baby, there's me, pick me. Pick me. No, the nebulizer, wasn't plugged into the nebulizer properly and died again. I mean, it's a wonder there's not more issues. You know what I mean? Oh, I was in quite the scrape. And then, so I was in hospital altogether about 3 months. And then when I left, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I hated the birds tweeting. I hated the natural light. I was not happy. And I did something very silly to try and get back into hospital. I took all my pills. And because I'm an idiot, I washed them all down with fabric softener. It was a very bold move. Now I know that's a terrible joke, but it's quite a dark thing to say, so I'm just like lightening it up there with that joke, so it's sort of distracted you from the severity of it. Okay, just a peep behind the curtain there for you all. Yeah, so do you know what as well? Because I was 17 when I was in the hospital. I was in the children's ward, so by this time when I went back in, I'd had my 18th birthday. Yeah, so I was in the adults ward and they just completely treated me different. They just left me on this trolley like in the corridor and they looked at me with different eyes, and which I get because now technically I'm just a time waster, but I think anyone, even if someone's taking a lot of tablets just to get into hospital, there's definitely a mental issue. It's not, no one's just doing that. No one doing that is completely fine. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the thing, it's a difficult one. So I know it's the same with so when I chatting to this woman a while ago, bless her, drug addict in town, and she, oh my god, she had septicemia. She needed to go to hospital, but she was like, they just treat me like shit there. And I get it because they're overstaffed, but then I also like I said, that she's not having a lovely time, is she? The opposite, bless her. Oh, seeing how people look at her as well is awful. We forget, you know, these people are humans, and you know, it's not that they've chosen to take drugs. It's just like, well, well, obviously some people are like, but so no, often it's, well, like I said, often it's covering up the fucking trauma, isn't it? Anyway, sorry. So, but on the plus side, because they looked at me like shit and treated me such, I thought, well, I don't really want to come back here, to be honest. So I guess I sort of sorted myself out. And then as well, because the next day, the guy that my mum went on a date with, old bloody got worms, he was doctor, and he goes, Laura, I think it's best if you go to a psychiatric unit to get assessed. And I was like, I'm not mental, and ran away shouting it with my gown open and my ass hanging out, which I'd say suggests otherwise. Yeah, but I wanted to leave Cornwall desperately. Too much had happened in Cornwall. It's nice, you know, nice beaches, but it's almost like, you know, when in your brain it just feels like everything's overwhelming and everything's like washing up on top of you, and Cornwall's like that, but on the outside, because obviously it's lovely when you go on holiday, but it's just a very small, well, a small town, small village mentality. It's just, when I look at, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I wonder what they're up to, and I'll look and they're just, oh god, the stuff they share and the bile. Anyway, so I when my friend Batty was going to uni, and I thought, I'm gonna follow her, not in a creepy way, like I asked her. Well, no, I didn't ask. Well, she knew. So off I went. But what I learned was, wherever you go, your brain is still in your head. That's what I learned. So even though now I was at bloody in the West Midlands, I still had all this trauma and all this business to deal with, and no one would work with me on my, because I did drama. Turned out it was the only course at the time in the whole country that did stand-up comedy. I'm a big believer in everything happening for a reason. I can't believe that it's like I didn't have a clue. It sort of ended up there by accident, and then yeah. Anyway, so no one would work with me because I was pissed all the time, still trying to drown out my head. And then one day I turned up and this guy's gone, are you ready for the stand-up comedy assessment? And I was like, what now? And I didn't have anything planned. And then this guy goes, oh, why don't you tell that story you told the other day in the pub about when you died twice? And I was like, oh, fine. That's all. I can't think of anything else. So I go on stage. And it was so weird because obviously I entered to indifference. No one liked me or wanted to work with me. But then I left to sort of treating me like a hero. They were in hysterics. I couldn't believe it. And as well, I couldn't believe that something so personal, it was cathartic for me to get laughs through something sort of quite traumatic at the time, really. And I couldn't believe it. And no matter what happened, I knew then that, obviously, I'm not going to go, oh, my life was great. That's not how it works. And I almost got kicked out of uni because I punched my best friend in the head because she slept with my boyfriend because she was like, oh, no, you're just imagining it just because of your mental health. And I said, I don't think something's right to him. And he went, oh, no, you're just imagining it because of your mental health. And they were just at it. Did I say mental health? So minty. They were at it. I punched them both, but because I'm not a fighter, I broke both my hands because I punched them in the forehead. So anyway, then when I did the assessment, stand-up comedy, the head of drama come up to me and she goes, we need to sort you out because you're an absolute mess. But that's what you should do for a living. That's what you're naturally really, really good at. You've got something special. And I just couldn't believe it. And then I just, despite blips and blops, I just worked really hard and just gigged. And then 2014 come and I was ready to go to Edinburgh Fringe Festival to do my solo hour, my debut hour. And it was basically because I still hadn't really been diagnosed, because my mum, every time I went to the doctor, because I tried to break my arm with a mallet, so they went doctor, and then to go, I think it's bipolar. Mum was like, you're just eccentric, and then so then when I was doing my solo show, it was, my whole life everyone's thought I was mental, but I'm just eccentric. But then as I was writing it, I was like, I think there might be some issues here. But and then it was it was only really when my mum died that I sort of accepted it, that I do have bipolar. Of course I do. I've just been so up and down forever, and I think it's lovely that she was like that, because she didn't think there was anything wrong with me. But it just, like, the moment I admitted it, the shore just, it was just, and obviously it's still at times, but I don't think we should. If I had a gaping cyst, I'd take something for it. I think, do you know what I mean? I feel like we often think we're not being human correctly if we need to take stuff for our brains, whereas there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. At one point, I thought, I don't need meds, come off them, tried to throw myself out of a moving car. See, best just stay on them. It's fantastic. The only bad thing about these mares is I see mice. They don't exist. But anyway, so 2014 did the show, and then at the time, people were they were like, "Oh, it's fantastic being so open about mental health," and so I wasn't ready for it to be over. So then after the festival, I started Barking Tales, which is a show where comedians come on and they talk about mental health. They talk about their mental health and all that, and it's just become a lovely little community, to be honest. It's won a couple of awards, and it's sort of, and I'm so happy and chuffed that I've sort of found my niche quiche, really. And yeah, so sorry if I've sort of waffled on a bit, but yeah, I just thought I'd give you my story, really, and how important just what it is that you're doing, 1625 and 25, and I hope you raise all the money all the money in the world. I really do. Right, well, thanks so much, and good luck with the sleep out as well tonight, and I want to know where everyone's going to be, and yeah, so thanks so much. I've been Harriet Dyer. All the best in your endeavours. Happy Hanukkah.
Amazing. That was Harriet Dyer. So thank you to her for giving us that bit of comedy. So now we will be talking to an audience member, Tim, who will be joining us shortly. Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you finding tonight?
It's been good, yeah. I did this for the first time last year for real, so it's very different tonight. But it's great to see everybody and see the chat going on the side.
Awesome, that's good. So where are you planning on sleeping out if you are sleeping
I'm going to sleep on my balcony.
Awesome.
So I can show you now if you like. I'm going to be over here overlooking the harbour.
Amazing, that looks incredible.
There we go. So, yeah. So it's going to be, a bit cold, but I did blag one of the banners advertising the sleep out, which will give me a little bit more protection.
You're very lucky. You have a better view than most people. So yeah, that's going to be good for you.
Yeah.
So why have you decided to join the sleep out? And yeah, what is your reasons for this?
Well, last year I was president of the Rotary Club of Bristol, and we had a couple of fundraisers for 1625 during the year. And one of them was a recital that a couple of people came along and just told us all about how 1625 had helped them. And I was so impressed that I decided to follow them and got Don Wood along to speak to the club. And obviously, I just had to do the sleep out. So there we are.
Awesome, that's amazing. We often, the young people here often do have a presence about them.
They certainly do.
They often do get people excited to be involved. So that's great. We're glad to hear it. Is there anything else that you wanted to say specifically whilst you're here?
I think the whole thing, because I'm a partner in the GP practice at Montpellier Health Centre in the city in Bristol, so I know all too well the problems that young people have. So it's another reason to join in tonight.
And we thank you for your hard work, especially through these incredibly difficult times. Thank you for joining us.
To go to work.
yeah. Most of it, well, some of us at 1625 are also essential, so we're still here working as well.
Excellent. Keep up the good work.
You too. Thank you for joining us, Tim.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye. Awesome. So now we will be taking a short break for you to get some food and a drink or anything you might need, refreshments, toilets, all of that good stuff. And we will see you back at 8:30. Hello and welcome back. I hope you had a nice break and toilet break for refreshments and everything. Now we will be going back to some more audience members. We have 3 for you. So first we're going to start with Ellen Jones. Hello, Ellen.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, really well, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited for the rest of the evening. How are you feeling about tonight?
Absolutely. Yeah, me too. I think it's been such an incredible evening, really kind of inspirational and informative. So yeah, huge kind of congratulations to everyone who's been involved, really.
Awesome. Thank you. So why are you sleeping out?
So I joined 1625 Independent People as a board member in May this year. So over the last kind of 6 or so months, I've gotten to see the kind of incredible work that the organisation does and the young people it helps to support. And yeah, I kind of wanted to do everything and anything I can to kind of help raise that awareness and to support, really.
Awesome. That's incredible. We thank you for it. So can you tell me a bit about where you're sleeping out?
Yes, outside in my garden. So a little bit chilly, but one of my cats is currently joining me on the sleeping bag. So hopefully she'll be keeping me warm a bit later this evening.
Awesome. That's great. I'm not allowed any pets, so you are already better off than I am.
There we are.
Is there anything else you wanted to say tonight?
No, I think the organisation is incredible, and just the people I've met kind of virtually just over the last 6 months, the kind of passion and hard work that goes into it is incredible. So yeah, everyone just keep supporting it, really.
Awesome. Final question very quickly. Yeah. How weird was it getting or introducing yourself to the organisation through the last 6 months?
I think it was very different because obviously it was all kind of over Zoom and stuff. But so a bit harder than it would be normal, but really, really good, and everything kind of works technically wise. So all good.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Have a nice evening, and we will see you soon, Ellen.
Perfect. You too. Take care. Thank you.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
And we have another audience member for you. So hopefully we will have Mark Jobst joining us.
Hey guys.
Hey Mark, how's it going?
Oh, good man. Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I feel like I need to put my mask on, but I don't suppose I do really, do I?
I think if you're outside and you're on your own, you should be fine.
Yeah, I'm by a nice fire. Look.
Awesome. That's incredible. Much warmer than most other people are going to be tonight.
Yeah, we made a nice fire and it all smells nice of wood smoke, and it's freezing cold outside, and I'm sorry I look shambolic, but that's life, isn't it?
That's okay. We all look a bit shambolic sometimes. So tell us a bit about why you're sleeping out tonight, Mark.
Well, oh man, what a time for young people, huh? What a time for all of us. We're all going through so much uncertainty, and it's difficult for all of those of us, even who are settled and lucky enough to have some work and a home and all the rest of it. And so for those young people who are struggling and having to find time outside their home, I just feel like we need to support them as much as we possibly can, and anything I can do to do that is a pleasure.
Awesome. That's incredible. I know you have lots of ties to 1625 as well. So do you want to tell us a bit about how you got involved with us or them?
Yeah, well, I'm a filmmaker, and I've wanted to make a film about homelessness, but also kind of really about home.
I've lost you a bit there, Mark. You've frozen a little bit. That's okay. We can come back to you later, Mark, if you do manage to find connection again. So we're going to move on to our final audience member, and we will see if we can reconnect to Mark later. So hopefully we will have Jamie joining us any moment now.
Hi there, Osei.
Hey, Jamie. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you. This show is going so smoothly.
We are glad to hear it. So how are you finding it?
And it's every year we do sleep out. It's for me, it's it's the biggest fundraiser. It's the only main event that we hold as a charity each year. And so it's so important to us because there are so many things that we do as a charity that we couldn't do without this fundraising. So it's about fundraising, but also there are so many amazing people out there, and I'm just sorry we can't all be together in person. But it's, on the one level, it's inspiring to know there are so many people out there that support the work that we do and help young people to succeed. So it's about bringing the community together and bringing all different people together to make a difference for young people. So it's a fantastic event every year.
100%. I completely agree with you. So I can see that you have a young person there with you. So I'm just wondering, are you able to tell us a bit about yourself and why you're sleeping out with your, I'm assuming your dad?
Yeah, I'm Lara. I'm 12 years old, and I'm sleeping out with my dad to raise money for 1625 independent people.
Amazing, thank you. So where are you guys sleeping out tonight?
We're sleeping in our shed in the garden.
That's great. That sounds like fun. So it's going to be like a little camping trip for you guys, yeah?
Yeah.
And we've got a fire, just like Mark has a fire. We've got a fire here. I don't know if you can see it there.
Awesome.
Oh, where is it? It's
that looks
there,
really warm.
There it is, yeah.
So Jamie, tell us a bit about like what you do with 1625, because you are a staff member now.
Yeah, I've been working with 1625 for some time, and my role is all about bringing people together, a bit like tonight, so that we can bring together the skills and the commitment and the values of people from different organisations, from the public sector, from people like Anne James and James Beardall and Maria Finlayson and the other Becky and all the team from Bristol City Council that are sleeping out tonight. Thank you so much. And people from the businesses that support 1625. And my role is about bringing people together from different walks of life so that we can draw on people's skills, draw on people's resources and make a difference for young people.
Thank you for that, Jamie. We hope you enjoy the rest of the night and have a good evening. We will catch up with you.
Thank you, Osei.
Awesome. So now we have a short film from one of our incredible and most inspiring young people. Danny will be talking about what she does and who she is and how she feels about 1625. So now we will be watching that with Danny.
I was like 18, 19 when I came in 1625. I was going through education to education to education, hoping to get somewhere with not knowing what my future was or where I would end up or what my life would be. Or I just left my ex-partner when I came in, so I was going through my trauma and going through working with my therapist. And I didn't know, as I said, I didn't know where my life would go. I didn't know what I wanted out of life. I didn't even know if I wanted to live. I was moaning at my cousins like how rubbish my life was. And she's like, you should do mentoring. And then after a big argument we had, I was like, okay, I'm gonna show her, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna say I've done it. And then she never has to talk about it again. And then that was 4 years ago and I'm still in the companies. So I started off doing a mentoring course in 1625. Then I went into peer education and I'm part of the peer ed team. And now I'm officially a colleague now, which is really brilliant. I've sort of evolved from being a young person, working through my issues with 1625, and I'm now working with 1625 to help other young people. So I didn't have good friends then. Now I have a whole company of friends and colleagues, and it's just really amazing. I've never been with a company that lets other young people make decisions for how the company is run. And I've got a future, I've got a plan of what I want to do. If it's not marrying Idris Elba, which is probably never gonna happen. I'm now studying to be a counsellor and help people through trauma. So my hope is to go to university eventually and be a therapist.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Danny. That was incredible. So now we will be having a little bit from Anne James, who is the Service Director for Children and Families at Bristol City Council. And she will be speaking for a little bit. So I'll pass you off to Anne. Welcome, Anne.
Hi, thanks, Osei. And thanks for inviting me to speak and to take part in tonight's sleep out. Little did I think when I said yes to this last year that I would be stuck in my loft tonight, which is, you might be able to just see behind me, kind of partially boarded out for a loft conversion. Well, what an act to follow. Danny, what an amazing and inspiring story. I really loved the bit about you talking about working for a company that lets young people make the decisions. Surely that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about young people being experts in their own lives and the rest of us absolutely championing that. So I'm Anne James. I work at the council. My job is running children's services. What am I going to talk to you a little bit about tonight? I'm going to talk to you about why this is such an important issue to me. I think I might talk a bit about some of the young people we work with, a bit about 16 to 25 independent people, and what I think is an absolutely excellent partnership that we benefit from in Bristol. Maybe some of the challenges of COVID and why we need to tackle youth homelessness and support young people in families and communities now more than ever. And then at the end, I might have a little treat for you and for the team that I'm a part of tonight. Some of you will know that the majority of my career has been in Bristol, and specifically has been in working in services for children in care and young people who are care experienced. I started my career working in children's homes in Bristol a very long time ago. And one of the things that I had to do very early on in my career, it was the children's home I worked in was a so-called independence training children's home. And I was asked to support a 16-year-old to move on, a 16-year-old girl, Michelle, to move on. And what that entailed was to move her to a large bed and breakfast hotel or hostel in a less than salubrious area of Bristol. And I have to say, it was one of the scariest and most sobering experiences of my life. I left her in a place where the noises were scary, where there were discarded syringes on top of the wardrobe. And when I sat in my car and left her there, which is what I did, I resolved that if I ever did have any sort of power over that, I would work really hard to change it. And that actually what I'd stepped into was care, and this was anything but caring for young people. And I have to say, I've gone on to be part of a great team in Bristol that has really worked very hard to improve care for children and to deliver a range of supported accommodation options in the city, and to move us away from those dangerous and frightening times of the large B&Bs and hostels. I guess safe and stable accommodation is something that many of us really take for granted. But when you're growing up in care, or when you face exceptional adversity in your birth family, it can feel very far from being a certainty. The idea of having the ability to determine what happens to you, of being able to make choices, of being able to make and recover from mistakes, which after all is what growing up is about, can feel like opportunities that others have. When faced with homelessness, the stakes are just so much higher, and you can feel so very alone under immense pressure, with one small slip up feeling as if it's going to throw everything into a tailspin, whether that's accommodation, college, employment, relationships. And it's all too easy in those times when you feel so unsafe to fall victim to those who want to exploit you or to cause you harm. And so what works? Well, you've heard it tonight, you've heard it in these stories and in some of the brilliant films that we've watched. Relationships work, trust works, belief works. Those are the things that create psychological safety. Having someone you can trust, who believes in you, who will focus all their efforts on helping you to achieve your goals. knowing that someone's got your back, that's what makes the difference. And of course, money and resources, having enough to live on, being able to pay your rent, travel about the city, get to college or work and stay connected with your friends. Those are the essentials of life. And I hope that the council and the services that I run operate in that space, that they offer that support to young people and their families and carers. But none of us can do that work alone. And 16 to 25 Independent People, which is an organisation that I've known and worked with for a really long time, are great partners supporting and championing young people, leading, collaborating, sharing their expertise. I'm really proud that I've been part of a leadership team at the council that strives to improve outcomes for children and young people, and that we're not scared to learn, to innovate or to create. We've collaborated with 16 to 25 on a number of great and innovative projects, from developing high support accommodation to meeting the needs of asylum-seeking young people, through to enabling young people to stay close and in touch with the team from their children's home, whilst also getting to know and trust a new network of adults who will support them into adulthood. And now, something I'm really proud of, Reboot West is a value-based programme that supports our care experienced young people into education, training and employment. It's a holistic programme and is delivered alongside our leaving care personal advisors, and it's evidencing excellent outcomes. 16 to 25 are great to work with. They really believe in young people. The team is collaborative and adaptable, and they've been here for a long time. And I hope with our support, they're here and able to continue their work with young people for a long time to come. I want to celebrate the resilience, tenacity and achievement of young people. Facing homelessness is not the end of the world. Young people go on to achieve every day, and often they're leaving family situations that are similarly intolerable. Never forget that with support, young people can recover and achieve anything, often having already developed the skills that many of us take years to build. But homelessness and the threat of it makes achieving in life so much more difficult. And that's why our focus has to be on prevention as well as on response. We've got to support young people, their families and our communities to tackle the adversity they face with compassion. We have to act now.
Thank you, Anne. That was incredibly emotional and inspiring, and we really appreciate everything you've said tonight. We are so grateful for all of the work you do, and I think I speak for all young people that are interacting with this issue, and I say that we really do appreciate all of the work that everybody does for young people. So it's a huge thank you from me and from the team here. But yeah, thank you for speaking tonight.
Osei, can I have 2 minutes to just do a little poem for the team that I'm a part of?
Of course.
And for everybody else who's sleeping out.
There's always space for
that. You may all really regret this, but I want to just say a thank you and give a shout out to everyone who's taking part tonight, and to all of our supporters and sponsors. And we're a team of 6 senior leaders in children's services. We're nearly all social workers, so you can imagine the debate and discussion that's gone on all week as to where we're sleeping and how we're doing it, and making sure that everybody's voice is heard. But I thought I just, with a nod to Dr. Zeus and the Sam I Am story, if you know it, this is a poor imitation, but a tribute to our Sleep Out team and also to everybody else who's braving the elements tonight in gardens and sheds. So here goes. Right. Tara, not in a boat, not on a train, not by water, not in the rain. She's sleeping in her garden. James, not in a boat, not on a train, not by water. He's on his roof again. Maria, sadly, she's not on holiday this week. So not on a boat, not on a train, not even on a beach. She's sleeping the night with a friend out of reach. Harriet and Becky, not in a boat, not on a train, not on a beach, not in the rain. They're in a park near their cars, socially distanced and wearing their masks. The masks that they have are in the shape of a snood. Let's hope they take them off when they need some food. And finally, me, not spending the night on a roof just like James, or on a bench in the park or the garden. A shame. I'm in isolation. Oh yes, a son with a test. I'm spending the night in my semi-converted loft. So thank you for indulging me.
That's okay.
Thanks very much.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. So now we are going to go through some fundraising prices, and we have 3 or 4 to give out. So bear with me while I just go through those prizes with you, and I will call out your names, and our teams will be sending out information to you about how to collect the prizes. So our first prize is for an individual prize, and the prize is a 2-night stay at the Rag House Inn for 2 people, and the winner is James Beardle. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, so please, if you think that's you, just contact our team. And our next prize is a community group / public sector, and the prize is £50 Prime Minister voucher, and the winner is Children and Families Department at Bristol City Council. So, and your team have won some Prime Minister, which is incredible. And our corporate group also win £50 Prime Minister, and the winner is Andrews. And last but definitely not least, the photo prize, which I hope you all took part in tonight. The prize is £20 Prime Minister, and the winner is Martin Paul from Options Resourcing. Awesome. So if you think that I called you out for having won a prize, contact our team and they will figure out how they are going to get that over to you. Amazing. So now we have some more audience chat for you. We will be having, I believe it's 2 people we will be having on. So hopefully we can finish our conversation with Mark from earlier.
Oh, hi there. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've come inside because I just wasn't getting enough signal by the fire. But I promise.
It's perfectly fine. We completely understand. I'm currently at 1625 offices, so we understand the struggles of connection.
Yeah. So we're Charlie and I sleeping out in a tent tonight.
Awesome.
So it's going to be chilly, but we've got each other at least.
Yeah, it's going to be very cold, especially at this time of year. Yeah. So good luck to you with that. I hope you've got lots of layers to put on.
Yeah, we've got hats and socks.
Awesome. So I think you were telling us a bit about how you got involved with 1625 and why you think it's important to sleep out. So if you want to tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started, I make films, and I have long wanted to find a way of making a film about homelessness, because it's just something that has always been an issue for me, maybe because my family were all refugees, and when I was growing up I always had a sense that the bags were packed and we needed to be ready to go at any moment, and so that sense of never really having a place to plant yourself in my early years anyway, maybe that has something to do with it. But then that became something that I was really interested in finding more about, and I wanted to be authentic about it and to be hearing from people who were more directly able to give me some research on that. And so Jamie Gill, who lives in my village, I knew worked at 1625, and so he said, well, come down and spend a bit of time with us in Bristol. So I did, and I sat in the kitchen there, and we had cups of tea together, and we chatted, and there were so many, amazing young people that I met there. And we started to develop together 1625 and a group in Gloucester to make a film that was about home, really, and telling it through 3 young people on the streets of Bristol who meet because of extraordinary circumstances at home that mean that they can't they can't exist in the way that they want to exist in their own home. And there was so much life to the young people that I was experiencing. There was so much energy and there's so much creativity, and some people would rap their stories to me just completely spontaneously, and some people would just move their stories, and it just made me sort of think and realize how often in filmmaking we just turn the cameras to the gutters, or to the drug abuse, or to the gangs and the knife crimes, and we never really see what I was experiencing, what I was witnessing from young people who are going through difficult times. And we never really see that vitality and that energy and that creativity. And it seemed to me, what an extraordinary loss to our world, that young people, the very bloodstream of life, cannot have anywhere to express that voice. So we wanted to try to make a film that did that, and we came up with this story, and working with you, Osei, as well. And you came and saw the performance of the treatment that we did. That's still an ongoing story. And so I got to know 1625 Dom and Jamie and you and various others in and out over the years. And unfortunately, making a film like this is very difficult, because it's new, it's original, it's unusual. It doesn't follow a genre. It's not a thriller or a rom-com or a comedy or all those sort of things that the film business likes to package things into. And that's what excites me about it. That's what makes me think, yeah, we're really onto something. And so, we're taking our time with it, and we're collaborating with many different partners. We have a choreography group called Bird Gang, who are an extraordinary dance outfit who do really beautiful storytelling through movement and dance. We have Conrad Murray and Boston Murray, his brother, who are beatbox and rap artists who are helping us work the language and the rhythms through language and the script. And Yolanda Mercy, who's a brilliant, wonderful young playwright who's helping me write the story. I think what I experienced at 1625 will never leave me. I think it's incredible. I think what the atmosphere that's been created there for young people is palpably trusting, caring, honest, loving, and I think that's invaluable. I just wanted to say a little something about home, because home is such an emotive word, and home can be a place where we can grow, expand, gain confidence, learn to express ourselves, become the person that we really want to be. And at our best, we can hugely contribute to the world. Awesome. It also, when it's not that, can be a really dangerous place, and a place that we want to flee from, that we want to, we need to take to the streets because it's dangerous. And I think that's a tragedy. And for a place like 1625 to try to replicate some of the safety that home can give young people in order for them to learn, to expand and to grow and to gain a sense of their voice is a gift that we should all support.
Thank you for that, Mark. And I wanted to pick up on one thing that you said there, and something that I think stands out to me from having seen the treatment and having worked with you and spoken to you about this subject. I think for lots of young people, they feel like they have skills regardless of going through a tough time. And it's just finding ways that we can help them re-engage those skills in society. So I think that is a great thing that you're telling this story in the way that you are, and finding ways to include people who have actually experienced that. So yes, great work.
And you know, the thing is, so much of life in general, but certainly in filmmaking terms, is access. You know, it's a, you know, it was for me too. When I started out, I didn't know anybody in the film business either. But at least I had a home that, you know, gave me the confidence to go out and reach for it. But if I didn't have that, as so many homeless people don't have that, then reaching for your dreams or that which you have an idea you'd like to do becomes that much more difficult. And what we need to do is constantly try to include, try to allow people to dare to dream, and then give them a helping hand to fulfill those dreams. And I hope if we can do that in some small way with those that are interested in making this film with me, then I'm a happy man.
I completely agree with you. We do what we can, but thank you for that, Mark. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. You're doing a great job, Osei. You look like a pro there, man.
Thank you, Mark. Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good evening. Awesome. So we have another few audience members for you tonight. So I think we're looking for maybe an imam. Hopefully we will have an imam now to talk to us about his connection to 1625. He does need to unmute himself, and then we can have a little conversation. Hey,
hello.
How's it going?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Awesome. Can I just get you to give me the pronunciation of your name so I don't get it wrong?
Shamim Rahman.
Shamim Rahman.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Shamim. How are you involved with Sleeping Out and potentially 1625 if you are involved with us?
Thank you very much for giving me a chance. I'm really wanted to work with 1625. Basically, a few weeks ago, I heard about this organization through one of my older brother, Muzleguddin. He also works with different charity organization, and he's connected with UK Curry Connect, UCC. So through him, I am involved with this. I'm really interested to work with them because I know because in my religion encouraged me to help to the needy people, poor people, especially youth people, the young stars, because of the less opportunity, most of the young stars, they can contribute the talent for the community. That's why I think, from my view, from my religious view, I need to support them, especially in this age, young stars for the 16 to 25. This organization, they're helping them and supporting them. Also, I heard they also work with the refugee people who have no opportunity. That's why I'm encouraged, I'm involved with them to work. I'm really honored.
That's really great. We appreciate all of the help and enthusiasm behind working with us. So if you are sleeping out tonight, do you mind telling me where?
I'm sleeping tonight in the mosque.
That's different. So that's going to be exciting for you.
Yeah, really exciting for me.
I hope you have a good night and you enjoy the rest of the evening, and we will catch up with you shortly, Shamim. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye. And we have potentially one more audience member who will be Nigel Dyke. And hopefully Nigel is ready to talk to us now.
Hi, Osei. How are you doing?
Hey, Nigel. I'm good. How are you?
Not so bad. Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to being outside tonight.
I don't blame you at all. Walking around earlier today, it was very cold, let alone now it's pitch black and there's like no sun at all. So good luck to everyone actually sleeping out. So yeah, talk to us a bit about why and how you got involved with 1625 and the sleep out.
So the main reason is that I was the architect for a project called Launchpad, which obviously 1625 were one of the client group for. So as part of that, I obviously got to know Dom and Jamie in particular really well, but also got involved with some of the young people, the young carers, care leavers that obviously part of 1625, because they became part of the client group for the building. And just by being around the organization, I got to know what you do and the good works that you do, and since then it's one of the charities that I'm absolutely supportive of, and do all I can to help you, and Sleep Out is just part of that, really.
Amazing, thank you. I know from personal experience on the youth board that Launchpad is a huge thing for us here at 1625. So we really appreciate everything that you have done in terms of that and continue to do. And it's definitely something that we as a youth board take very seriously. So talk to us a bit about where you're sleeping out.
So I'm being a bit sort of lazy this evening, and I'm out in the garden in a tent. But it will be cold, and there will be times to think about people who obviously do that without the choices that I have. So whether it's a garden in the cold or a street corner, it all gets part of that awareness, doesn't it?
Garden or no garden, I think, especially considering we've just gone into another lockdown, you are allowed to stay close to home.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take it easy on yourself. Is there anything else you want to add tonight, Nigel?
No, I mean, other than this is my third Sleep Out with you guys, so I feel a bit of a veteran. Last year, well, I'm hoping to sleep much better than last year, because last year I spent a lot of time listening to people snoring. But of course, this year on my own, and I don't snore, of course, I'm hoping to actually get quite a good night's sleep.
Hopefully you don't actually find any like unwanted snoring in your vicinity.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Have a good night, Nigel. Take care.
Yeah, best of luck. Cheers now. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. So now we're going to have another quick little break for you to go get any refreshments and to the toilet, and we will see you at 9:30. Hello and welcome back. We have just a few more things for you tonight, and then we will be finishing off with a bedtime story from Alice, and then just a few little bits to round up the end of the evening. First, we're going to have one more participation things from an audience member. He is also the chair of the board at 1625. So I will be passing you off to Nick Hooper, who will talk about a bit about what he does here. So, hi Nick, how's it going?
Hi Osei, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, fine, very good. So we had a good time?
Yeah, I've been having a great time. It's fun, slightly different to what I usually do, but it's all fun nonetheless.
Yeah, and I love the sparkles behind you.
Amazing. I think it's just some fairy lights, something to make the office look a bit
it's not how I remember the office.
Yeah, it wasn't how I remembered it when I walked in.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope everybody's had a great evening. I've been dipping in and out. It's been some real fun stuff, and I'm really hoping you've had a good time. And I've got a few thank yous. So, and sometimes it's a bit invidious to thank individual people, but I am going to do it. And in particular, I want to pick out Hannah Barry and the comms team for all the work they put into making this happen. Obviously, completely different experience and set of arrangements and skills to make this happen as compared to a normal sleep out. And they've done a fantastic job. It's really incredible. And secondly, to Osei for being a great MC. And I think you've definitely got a career ahead of you, mate. The response to young people potentially becoming homeless, I think, remains as important as ever, possibly even more so. The risks to young people's futures, which were already significant, are probably greater in these COVID and post-COVID times. And I'm thinking especially of issues around mental health and finding good paid work. So we have a task to do, and we need your help in continuing our work with that task. So what else can you help us with? First thing I'd say is don't give up on the fundraising. Your pages remain open. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, wherever you've been, tell people what you did and why you did it, and ask those people who haven't given you money if they would please do so. And if you're from a works team, if your employer or if you know someone else's employer is looking for a charity of the year, many organisations have charities of the year that they're looking to support, then please pitch for us if you can. We would really value it. And the solutions to creating the bright future that many of these fantastic young people have got ahead of them are actually quite complex. All of you are part of it. We need private sector sponsors and support. We need private sector employers to offer apprenticeships and training schemes and so forth. We need the support from the public sector for the work we do, to fund the work that we do, and also from the not-for-profit sectors, from our partner organisations and from charitable trusts and funders. And all these organisations have to collaborate like never before if we're to make a real impact on the issues that are in front of us. And as I've said, I can't thank everybody separately, but we have many individuals, friends, groups of friends and work teams taking part. And worth noting, I think, this year for the first time ever, a number of younger people, under 18s, which we haven't been able to do before. So that's great. I think there's even a youth club helping us out. So that's fantastic. That's this kind of sleep in, sleep out has enabled us to spread the net a bit. So thank you so much for what you've done and what you will do. And I'm pleased to say that we have reached our target this year. So we set ourselves a target of 20,000. Obviously, that's substantially less than we raised last year, which was around £80,000. But for all the reasons that we understand. But with a bit more of a push, perhaps collectively we can get us towards the £30,000 mark, and then with tax relief added, that might get us a bit higher. And we desperately need all that you can do for us, whether it's financial help or in kind. And we really welcome and thank you so much for everything you've done. And with that, I hand back to Osei and then on, I think, to Bedtime Story from one of my very favourite TV people. And then hopefully a cozy night for everybody.
Amazing. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
That was incredible. Sorry. Bit of a sore throat there, but thank you for that, Nick. We really appreciate it. And rightly said, we are going to be having a bedtime story from Alice Roberts now. Alice is a biological anthropologist, biologist, author, and television presenter, as seen on Channel 4's Time Team and BBC Two Coast, to name a few. So Alice is obviously incredible and very notable. So we will be having a short bedtime story from Alice now.
Bunting. My dad and I live in an airport. That's because we don't have a home and the airport is better than. Good evening, everybody. I hope you have a good night's sleep tonight. It looks like it's going to be a cold one. I'm going to read you a bedtime story. It's called Fly Away Home by Eve Bunting. My dad and I live in an airport. That's because we don't have a home and the airport is better than the streets. We're careful not to get caught. Mr. Slocum and Mr. Vale were caught last night. 10 green bottles hanging on the wall, they sang. They were as loud as two moose bellowing. Dad says they broke the first rule of living here. Don't get noticed. Dad and I try not to get noticed. We stay among the crowds, we change airlines. Delta, TWA, Northwest, we love them all, Dad says. He and I wear blue jeans and blue t-shirts and blue jackets. We each have a blue zippered bag with a change of blue clothes. Not to be noticed is to look like nobody at all. Once we saw a woman pushing a metal cart full of stuff. She wore a long, dirty coat and she lay down across a row of seats in front of Continental Gate 6. The cart, the dirty coat, the lying down were all noticeable. Security moved her out real fast. Dad and I sleep sitting up. We use different airport areas. Where are we tonight? I ask. Dad checks his notebook. Alaska Air, he says. Over in the other terminal. That's okay. We like to walk. We know some airport regulars by name and by sight. There's Idaho Joe and Annie Franny and Mars Man. But we don't sit together. Sitting together will get you noticed faster than anything, Dad says. Everything in the airport is on the move. Passengers, pilots, flight attendants, cleaners with their brooms, jets roaring close to the windows, other jets roar out. Luggage bounces down chutes, escalators glide up and down, disappearing under floors. Everyone's going somewhere, except Dad and me. We stay. Once, a little brown bird got into the main terminal and couldn't get out. It fluttered into the high, hollow spaces. It threw itself at the glass and fell panting to the floor, flew to a tall metal girder and perched there, exhausted. Don't stop trying, I told it silently. Don't. You can get out. For days, the bird flew around, dragging one wing. And then it found the instant when a sliding door was open and it slipped through. I watched it rise. Its wings seemed okay. Fly, bird, I whispered. Fly away home. Though I couldn't hear it, I knew it was singing. Nothing made me as happy as that bird. The airport's busy, and noisy even at night. Dad and I sleep anyway. When it gets quiet between 2 and 4 a.m, we wake up. Dead time, Dad says. Almost no flights coming in or going out. At dead time, there aren't many people around, so we're extra careful. In the mornings, Dad and I wash up in one of the bathrooms and he shaves. The bathrooms are crowded no matter how early, and that's the way we like it. Strangers talk to strangers. Where did you get in from? 3 hours, our flight was delayed. Man, am I bushed. Dad and I, we don't talk to anyone. We buy donuts and milk for breakfast at one of the cafeterias, standing in line with our red trays. Sometimes Dad gets me a carton of juice. On the weekends, Dad takes the bus to work. He's a janitor in an office in the city. The bus fare's $1 each way. On those days, Mrs. Medina looks out for me. The Medinas live in the airport too. Grandma, Mrs. Medina, and Denny, who's my friend. He and I collect rented luggage carts that people have left outside and return them for 50 cents each. If the crowds are big and safe, we offer to carry bags. Get this one for you, lady, it looks heavy. Or, can I call you a cab? Denny's real good at calling cabs. That's because he's 7 already. Sometimes passengers don't tip. Then Denny whispers, stingy, but he doesn't whisper too loud. The Medinas understand that it's dangerous to be noticed. When Dad comes home from work, he buys hamburgers for us and the Medinas. That's to pay them for watching out for me. If Denny and I have had a good day, we treat for pie, but I've stopped doing that. I save my money in my shoe. Will we ever get our own apartment again? I asked Dad. I'd like it to be the way it was before Mum died. Maybe we will, he says, if I can find more work, if we can save money. He rubs my head. It's nice right here though, isn't it, Andrew? It's warm, it's safe, and the price is right. But I know he's trying all the time to find us a place. He takes newspapers from the trash baskets and makes pencil circles around letters and numbers. Then he goes to the phones. When he comes back, he looks sad and angry. I know he's been calling about an apartment. I know the rents are too high for us. I'm saving money too, I tell him, and I lift one foot and point to my shoe. Dad smiles. Attaboy. If we get a place, you and your dad can come and live with us, Denny says. And if we get a place, you and your mum and your grandma can come and live with us, I say. Yeah. We shake on it. That's going to be so great. After next summer, Dad says, I have to start school. How? I ask. I don't know, but it's important. We'll work it out. Denny's mom says he can wait for a while, but Dad says I can't wait. Sometimes I watch people meeting people. We missed you. It's good to be home. Sometimes I get mad and I want to run at them and push them and shout, why do you have homes when we don't? What makes you so special? That would get us noticed, all right. Sometimes I just want to cry. I think Dad and I will be here forever. Then I remember the bird. It took a while, but a door opened. And when the bird left, when it flew free, I know it was singing. I hope you enjoyed that story. Thank you for doing what you're doing tonight. And let's hope that we can help more people not to be sleeping out. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you for that. So thank you, Alice Roberts. We really appreciate that story. And I hope you've enjoyed everything tonight, everybody. We just wanted to run over a few quick things before we close down the night, and then that will be the end of our journey together. But I do understand that for many people who are sleeping out tonight, this is just the beginning. So please do remember that once you wake up in the morning, there will be a video that goes live on our YouTube channel, which is a yoga video to help get you stretched out for the day ahead. So very quickly, to refer back to what Nick was saying earlier, the total amount raised from tonight has been £22,500, which is absolutely incredible and will go such a long way to helping all of the really impressive young people you have seen tonight through the films and whatnot. We just wanted to say good luck to everybody working on this and doing work towards helping end youth homelessness. It is such a huge and important task that we feel is important, and we really appreciate all of the assist on. And then that's it, I guess. So yeah, it's a huge thank you from me and the Sleep Out team. We have greatly appreciated everything that everyone has contributed to tonight and all of the people that have come on to speak. And we hope you really enjoyed it. Have a good night, and we will see you in the morning for yoga. Bye now.